Welcome to the Weekend Fixer. This little doodad has the potential to be the biggest failure in your home and cause a massive leak if it's not maintained or replaced properly. So today we're going to go over the angle stop supply line that supplies water to your kitchen sink, your faucets, and your toilets. So at your house, chances are you have a copper pipe, 1/2 inch, coming out of the wall to supply water to your faucets or to your toilet. Typically there is a plastic wall ring, I call it a escutcheon, that goes against the wall to make sure that that hole where that copper pipe is looks a lot cleaner. This one in particular is plastic, but they do come in chrome and a lot of other colors. You can even get them in brass and gold and whatnot. So as this sticks out of the wall, currently at your home, you probably have something that looks like this. You won't see a lot of these items, but it'll currently look like this with a supply line coming out of the top. So let's just use, there went my brass ferrule, but we're okay. We'll chase it down. We're going to take this supply line that typically goes to a sink, and that's what it looks like underneath your sink. This nut is tight on there, and for some reason or another, it needs to be replaced. There's lots of reasons that this needs to get replaced. In Arizona, where I'm at, we have hard water. These things will go bad and not even want to turn after a short period of time. By a short period of time, I'm talking even within a couple of years. They'll get corroded and they won't want to shut off, especially the type that you turn and have a plastic stem that comes out right here. That plastic stem can get stuck, and then as you turn it, it breaks and you start having water going into your home. So you're not able to shut off the water to your home. So for today's video, we're going to assume that this valve right here, this angle stop, is bad and that we need to replace it with a new one. There's several ways to get that off. You can use lots of different tools. A crescent wrench, you'll need to hold on to this portion as well as this portion with a different wrench to make sure that you're able to turn this righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, this nut, and loosen it while not twisting this and getting it all kinked and broken. So I like to hold on to it with either some channel locks, pliers, or a crescent wrench while loosening this nut here. Before doing any of that, you're going to need to make sure the water's turned off to the home. So we're going to show you how to do that. So to turn the water off to this home, you can see the configuration here. This is for the faucet, obviously. This coming out of the ground into this valve is where you turn the water off. So you would pull this down and make sure that the handle is out straight, which tells you the water is off. I then will turn the faucet on and let all the water drain out. If for some reason your home doesn't have a valve like that goes into the ground, you're going to have to go to the meter box to turn the water off. This is the meter box. This is the city meter where they read your water usage, and coming from the sidewalk area, this is where you shut it off. It's very difficult to shut off here. There's typically spiders and all kinds of fun critters in here, but this is where you would shut off your water to your home if you don't have the same kind of shut off that I showed you previously. Okay, the water's shut off to your home. You're safe and ready to go. I like to flush a few toilets in the area because they're the lowest supply line, and it makes it so that there's not a lot of water left in this. It's nice to have rags, a sponge, and a bucket on hand, even so, because oftentimes, especially in a 2-story home, if you're working on the downstairs, there's going to be a lot of residual water. So you want to have something to capture that. Other than a crescent wrench, which is probably one of my favorite tools to get one of these off for a DIYer, the other option is a pair of channel locks. Now, channel locks, you're able to adjust them and get them to the size that's necessary to do to go around the nut that you're going to try to do. Again, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and we're able to pull that nut off. One of my favorite tools, especially if you're going to do a few of these, is a dedicated tool for angle stops. This one locks around the nut. It will tighten and kind of ratchet as you tighten it. There's a second component that comes with that tightens, screws right onto the supply line area, so you're able to hold on to that while you're ratcheting the nut off. So if you're home, you're doing several of these, it's well worth going on Amazon. Look for the angle stop tool. This one will do the supply line. This is the main line. And again, it's so nice to have the right tool to do some of these tasks around the home. So we're back at underneath your sink. This angle stop needs to be replaced. The water's turned off. We've done everything that we need to. We've loosened the nut and we're ready to take it off. You'll loosen the nut and you'll get to a point where you can slide the angle stop off. And again, some water, residual water may come out, so make sure you have a sponge and bucket and things like that on hand. Now, clamp to the copper, compressed onto the copper is going to be this brass ferrule. And in order to get that off, it is very tricky. People have to cut them off. They have all kinds of different ways to cut it off. I'm going to show you a tool that has been a lifesaver for me. And again, sometimes an $8 tool is well worth it just to even do one angle stop. But especially if you're going to do multiples, this tool is a lifesaver. And what it is, it looks like this. This portion goes inside the copper pipe, and the nut tightens on to this portion right here. So you screw the nut in. After you have that screwed in, you can start turning this and it'll pull the nut and that ferrule, that brass ferrule, right off of the pipe, leaving it perfectly ready to go. Now I say perfectly ready to go, but sometimes there's a little scarring. There might be some discoloration due to water leaking and everything else like that. There's all kinds of ways you can clean that. There's emery pads, there's steel wool. Sometimes I just grab anything I have around, like this is sandpaper for a palm sander, but I grab it and we're able to spin around and get that copper nice and clean. And that makes sure that all the burrs are gone and any grooves are gone out of the copper before installing the new angle stop. Now it's time to put on our new angle stop. So we're going to prep our angle stop a little bit, ready to go back on and get it reinstalled. Now there's lots of opinions about this. The threads on the angle stop. Some people like to put Teflon tape on it. Some people like to put what I call pipe dope or thread paste. It has a Teflon paste that you put on the threads and helps seal the threads. And some people will tell you don't have to do anything at all. I like to use thread paste or pipe dope. I put a little pipe dope around that thread. I like to start the nut just slightly that has the brass ferrule ring already inside of it. Here's the brass ferrule ring. And we get ready to slide on to our new supply line that we've cleaned. Now you'll push that on and you'll feel it come to a stop. I like to keep a little bit of pressure on that as I get ready to tighten this. Make sure that this does not pull out and that it's tightened. When you tighten it, it has to be tightened pretty firmly in order for that brass ring to get compressed onto that copper and create a lasting seal on there. So this isn't just a finger tight kind of thing. You got to give it some beans in order to make sure that that's nice and tight. Again, it's just basically like finger tight and then give it a little bit of oomph and you're good to go. Again, This tool is awesome when reinstalling because it helps keep this valve nice and straight and ready to go. So once you have it nice and tight, you'll turn it off and you'll reinstall the bottom portion that's coming from your faucet that you took off earlier. Again, this one, and I can show it to you real quick, has a built-in ferrule inside of it. So no pipe dope, no nothing is needed for this. It just threads on. Again, once it's finger tight, then we like to take a little bit of extra oomph on it to make sure it's nice and tight. This is the part where it is nice to have a second person on hand. You make sure all these components are nice and tight. All the angle stops are turned off. Then you have somebody go turn the water back on. Or you turn the water back on and then come back and make sure you check quickly if there's any leaks coming from this area, or the supply line area. Once you've established that there's no leaks, you're good to go in regards to turning that valve open to allow water to go back to your faucet. Again, we're checking for water coming out here now that water is through the, pressurized through this line here. I do love these steel braided lines that you get at the box store. They seem to hold up really well, and they're much better than any of the plastic ones or ones like that. This would be the same process for a toilet. This supply line would be shorter and would connect underneath your toilet tank. So this portion that connects to the angle stop looks exactly the same. There's just a little bit different nut on here that connects to the tank of your toilet. On the type of angle stop that has the handle, there's often a nut that's behind this area right here. They do make a rebuild kit where you can take that handle off, undo that nut, and pull the stem out and put a new stem in and put it back together. If that's what you want to do, there are several videos online that show how to do that. I'm not going to show it in this video, but it is a more inexpensive way. These angle stops run about $10, where the rebuild kit is about $5 or $6. In my opinion, I think it's much easier just to go with a brand new full angle stop, and it gives you the peace of mind to make sure that that item is taken care of in your home. If you had to remove this wall plate when you were doing your wall, or it needs to be replaced, you can cut off the old one. This particular one has a split in it right here, and that split is made to break open, and then you can slide it over an existing pipe that is in the wall, and I usually will turn that split to the bottom where it's hidden, and that gives you the same look without having to worry about cutting it or anything else. It's made to go over an existing pipe. I don't want to make this video too long, but I want to let you know that these tools are super valuable to have as part of this job. Crescent wrench, channel locks, or an actual angle stop tool. And then you have the ferrule puller. And if you look online for that on Amazon or on a plumbing supply, you'll be able to find these items, which will make your job so much more pleasant. In my 30+ years, my experience tells me that these things often fail, and it is worth the time and effort to do it yourself, to have these things replaced, and have the peace of mind that these are not going to flood. And if you need to turn the water off to a fixture, you're able to get under there, and that thing will turn just as smooth as butter, and you won't have to worry about it falling off in your hand and water spraying everywhere. So hope you enjoyed it. Please check out all my other videos, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.